Yo, what's up, Foolys? It's your boy Othree. Welcome back to the Othree Exhibit. This is exhibit number 28. I'm experimenting with intros. I want to keep them short because I myself don't really like long podcast intros. I don't have any sponsors. I don't have to read any ads. I don't have any ads during the podcast, so don't worry about that. I'm off of social media, so if you want to connect with me, you got to, try to join me on my Discord server or pop in during my live streams on YouTube. I got music on the way. I got some vlogs being released on a weekly basis at this point. I got weekly podcast episodes. I got regular live streams. And I got some merch on the way. But this is the story of Soulreal Part 2. Part 1 was exhibit number 10. In this episode, we're going to talk about his gaming and anime content, his Christian faith, and his complete music journey. Let's go. I'm here with my boy Soulreal, who's going to continue telling us his story. Anything you want to say before we begin, fool?
I'm just happy to be here, man. What's up?
Plática number 10 was the last time you were here. So not that long ago, but I
When did
did
we
take
record that?
I took a break in between the like summer break. I think in between our Plática I did like 2, 3 more. No, like I did like 10 more actually.
Was
That
that
kind
last year?
nah, this was probably like April, May. And we recorded our episode and you were talking about, your childhood. You were talking about gaming and anime, but we didn't really get to talk about your music, which is, kind of what part of this plática is going to be about. But to
Right.
begin the plática today, let's talk about something that's, a lot more recent. I follow you. I've been knowing you for so long, and your social media pages have changed over the years. And with
hmm
me not being on social media too much, and us just having discussions about marketing and posting and content, I kind of have like a behind the scenes access to how your brain works. But I want you to let it be known as to why the sudden influx of video game content and anime content.
Well, what I can say is that I've always been interested in, anime and nerd stuff and video games and I always that was always something I wanted to do and talk about whether it be podcasts, creating content, skits, whatever the case may be. And I just finally pulled the trigger and said, this is something I'm going to do. And to even dive deeper into it, I used to be made fun of. I used to had to be secretive of my fandom of being an anime nerd because being an anime nerd now or being a fan of it is cool. It's accepted. But back then, you're the weirdo kid who likes those Chinese cartoons, for lack of a better, they don't even know the difference. It's
Yeah.
Chinese cartoons,
They don't even know
you
the
know.
difference. That's sad.
So like, yeah. So it was like you're the weird kid if you liked anime. They get made fun of. You run like Naruto
Hmm.
or screaming like Goku. That was me. But I was dressed like all banged out and choloed out. But I was hanging out with the foolies, the fools, and then yeah, and you know, ganging, banging.
uh, in the previous plática, we were talking about gaming and anime content. You kind of discussed about your consoles, your history with consoles. Now you have,
Yeah,
what do you play on now?
the P5.
The PS5. And throughout, kind of similar to the same topic and the same discussion, you also started streaming on Twitch a lot more, correct?
Yeah.
What was
So yeah,
that?
that was something I wanted to do too. So it's all tied into each other, like video games and anime. So like the gaming is another thing too. Like I always wanted to be a streamer and put stuff online. I like fighting games. And I always watch like fighting game compilations or great like plays and stuff like that. So I always wanted to do that and Call of Duty as well. But mainly it was like fighting games. I was like always wanted to be a part of a tourney.
Mm.
That was like always something I always wanted to do when I was younger, like be good enough to be like I'll probably get mopped, mollywopped, I already know, but I just want to be good to contest with some of the sweatiest of the sweats.
Yep. I think we've
You know
had
what I'm
this.
saying?
I think we've had this discussion offline so many times.
Yeah.
Um, when you create specifically for your gaming content, what's kind of the thought process behind that? What goes through your mind when you're creating video game content?
Honestly, nothing, bro. I just like what I like. It's kind of like how I share those anime memes and stuff. It's just something that I really enjoy, and I know other people like this particular thing as much as I do. So if you relate to that, cool. If not, all good,
Mm.
So it's like I know there's people out there like what I like as well. So that's like, I share that.
A lot of your video game content is tied to your streams, correct? Do you press record or you press live with the idea of creating a piece of content in the future, or in the
No,
future, do you look back at it and be like, oh, this would be a cool ass clip, or do
I
you
just
decide in between the session?
I just record and then I look back. I look back at it, pause, but unpause, but but look back at it and then to review the film and then see if there's a cool clip and then that'll be cool to share.
I think we were playing Overwatch the other day, and
Hmm.
there
A
was a
play.
moment in there you actually went as far as actually posting what you said you were going to do. But I
Yeah.
remember in the moment, we were both locked in. You can't hear me in the clip, but I specifically remember you saying, I'm gonna clip this, I'm gonna clip this. And then sure enough, a couple of days later, you posted it,
Hmm.
right? Is that one of those things where right away, or is it one of those
I
things where it
mean,
just
it's all based upon the game, bro. Like, if you get a good play, it's you clutched up, you get a dub or you made a play. Yeah, you're gonna obviously share it. It was a smart play.
it was a
I don't know
smart
if
play?
you watched it, Clay. Yeah, so yeah, you flank. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, you flank.
What's the goal
They
with
had,
all this?
that's a good question. I would just say, like I said, to find people like me, man, that like the stuff that I like and create a community, like or be a part of a community that likes that, So like it's like calling out all nerds. That's what it is, like, oh, you like this game too? Me too. So I share that. If you like Dragon Ball, you like Bleach? Bam, me too. Let's be friends. So yeah. Basically that's the main thing. Like I said, if you like as much as I do, bro, and I know I like it, and I know there's people out there like, fanboy off of that. Yeah, let's just be friends, bro. Or whoever, you know, whoever's down, they'll be friends.
Friends.
How many of us have them? Yeah, man. It's a
Why?
community, bro. So there's every single medium, every single like, show, video game, like Overwatch has a community, Call of Duty has a community, Bleach has a community. All they have their own little thing. So like, I kind of want to like mingle in all of them because I'm all part of all of it. I like them all.
Why did you call yourself Kempachi on Twitch instead of Soulreal?
That's a good question. I mean, do you know the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. And for those who know. And for those who don't, I feel sorry for you.
I mean, you have that fool posted up in the back right there. Can't really see
Yeah,
him, but
yeah. There's a reason why my gamer alias is Kimpachi Zoraki, the Squad 11.
do you know anybody that knows you as just Kempachi? Because I know you as Soulreal and
Yeah,
Kempachi.
people I game with, they don't know I make music. If it comes up to conversation, yeah, like yeah, I make beats, bro. Oh, that's cool. It's like a simple banter. It's like, when you meet people online, you're like, where you from, What do you do? So it comes up to conversation. You're like, this is what I also do in my free time. You socialize. Yeah, you socialize and meet people, and that's what I do.
Why Twitch over all the other platforms?
It's the one I'm familiar with, and I try to quick kick as well, and just stick with kick. I mean Twitch. It's cool. It works.
Any streamers that you watch personally?
I don't say like like super tuned in, like watch for hours and end and like I just I'll be like doom scrolling on social media. You shouldn't do that. So I'll be doom scrolling and I see clips and they know what I'm doing and know where I'm at all times. And then so they know what I'm watching and what I like. So I'm saying too much, but anyways, uh, uh, yeah, they know I play Overwatch. So like they be feeding me like flats.
Mhm.
Flats is a guy, and then like when I was like into like Warzone, Tim, Tabman, people like that. Anything that I'm playing or like share, the algorithm catches up and they'll put me like a person that's in that community or streaming or that's kind of famous in that realm.
Mm.
So
You
that's why I get a lot of Overwatch streamers because I post like some Overwatch clips.
do you have Twitch on your phone?
Yes.
Have you ever fell victim of the doom scroll on Twitch?
No. No.
Oh, bro. You know how you like now they have that feature kind of like TikTok where you could scroll and see different
Yeah.
streams now? The
Yeah.
other day I caught myself like after like 10 minutes, I was like, what the fuck? I think that's even more dangerous than the TikTok and
You know
the
what?
YouTube shorts and the reels.
You know what I realized, bro? That you know how they say video games are bad. You know why? It's because people don't have self control. And this having this conversation with you, now I'm beginning to understand like a lot of people have problem with self control because they don't understand like okay, there's more to life than just gaming, and I understand that. I understand why it gets demonized a little bit because of that because people spend hours on end and not being productive in life. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. It's good to have other things going on in your life. Like I love gaming. Don't get me wrong. I love gaming. But there's more to life than me than just video games. There's more to life to me than making music. There's other factors in my life that are more important. That are
We ha-
greatly more important than those superficial things.
we had a talk a couple weeks ago about this same topic at your house where we're working on some music. Oh, you were making a beat and I was just chilling, but I just
Yeah,
like to say that because I
casting
was
couch.
just just posted in the back sleeping and shit. But
Yeah.
saying random shit. But we had to talk about video games and you seem so excited to start creating content. Do you feel that now that you're making a little bit of content, do you see yourself enjoying video games a little bit more? It's just like whatever's.
It's crazy that like now you said that too. Like I I wanted to do this for so long when I was younger. Like I said, like I'm pretty sure I mentioned it earlier in the conversation, but I wanted to. Like I said, I wanted to be part of tourneys and stuff like that. I wanted to share. When we were playing Warzone in 2020, which is 4 years ago, might I add you, which is a long time ago if you think about it. Well, not really, but it is. Time flies. But I wanted to stream then. I didn't have the equipment. I didn't have the camera. I didn't have the means, to do it. And also, it's a lack of education. Like you need a PC which costs $4,000. That was like the thing, right? But now it's really accessible. I just literally I don't have a decked out PC. All I have right now, this is my equipment. I'm gonna give you the sauce. Whoever wants to become a streamer, all you need, bro, is your console and a webcam, and that's it. You can get started today, bro. Don't make any excuses. If you like video games, dog, and that's something you really want to do, you just do it. Just get your camera. Don't make excuses and just do it, bro. And that mentality. Let's say, for instance, you want to become a painter. Get up, get you a little art supplies, and just do it, bro. Don't don't hold yourself back to any dream or aspirations that you have. Just do it, bro. Don't hold yourself back because you do it. Nobody else is telling you but yourself that you can't do it. You're just making excuses for yourself, like, oh, I don't have enough money, la 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 la. No, it's you. You are holding yourself back for your own happiness.
You also got to remember when he means webcam, he's talking about specific PS5 cam, right?
Yes, yeah, but Xbox has the same thing.
Hmm.
So it's like I said, like it's no, you just do it, bro. Don't, and then when you start getting money and you really want to go hard and streaming, then you buy yourself a PC. But for now, just get started. Baby steps.
Have any of your posts done like great numbers?
I mean, not really, bro.
Like,
I'm being completely real. Like even today, I posted something that got 1,000 views, but it like you know how it is, bro. Like what's successful is like in the 100,000s and the million views. That's viral. I haven't gotten anything that's viral. That's a couple of views. Would
any
I like would I like to go viral? Sure. Sure.
this question might be a little bit about analytics, and
Yeah.
most people don't really know this, but sometimes when people follow you, it's because they ran into one of your reels. You know, they stumble upon one of your reels, and it tells
Yeah.
you on the analytics. If you're able to access the analytics for that post, it will tell you this reel, because of this reel, you gain so and so this amount of followers. If you ever
See,
get
I
a
didn't
chance to do that and look
yeah,
that
I have
over,
never done that.
if you care about the analytics, I don't care about analytics, but if you care about analytics, which I mean, it is recommended to care if you
Yeah.
want to do the social media game, it would be cool to look at those metrics besides the views, besides the likes and the comments, because not everybody likes the post, not everybody comments, but if they follow you because they like a certain post,
Yeah.
that might be a better uh, analytic for you. I don't know how, depending on how you want to treat your page, whether you want to have a high follower count, do you want to have high comment count, do you want to have a little bit of everything? I don't know. Do you have all that figured out yet?
No, no, honestly, like I honestly post what I like, and like I said, I don't have like I don't aspire, I don't strive to be like I want 100,000 followers, and this is what's, you know what I mean? That's not something I want. You know what I do want is like if you like the stuff, then go ahead, shoot a follow. If you don't, all good. Like I like how like there's underground artists, right?
Yeah.
And they don't have like Drake following, but they'll have their 15,000 fans that are like, I'd rather have the 15,000 fans than the 100,000 fans that are fake and that's kind of like on boozy, like they superficial love you kind of thing, than the people who really mess with your stuff. And I think a lot of people should feel that way. Not should, you shouldn't do anything in this. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'd rather have the people that's loyal. That loyalty is everything, man. So if you like my stuff, you've been down since day one, and that's who I want. I want people like that.
If
If
you
you want
ever,
to, if you want to gauge like my audience, I want loyal people.
mm,
That's who I want.
for sure. You heard that? You
Yeah,
heard that right here. Target audience, loyal
loyal.
motherfuckers who like anime, who like gaming, who like music. Boom.
No, you don't even have to like that. You're just loyal. You're a loyal person.
So before
You know,
you, okay.
yeah, yeah, just loyalty. Are you loyal to something? That's a good quality to have. They say who you are, who you kick it with. So maybe it translates the same thing to social media. So the people I want following me is people that's like me.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
You speak you speak about community, right? And
Hmm.
studying the live streaming space and studying esports and gamers, I've been a big fan of Tin the Tatman. He has the Tatman army. Scump, he's, perhaps the greatest Call of Duty player of all time in terms of professional gaming.
Yeah.
He has the Scumper jumpers. All these Twitch streamers, not all of them. I'm gonna take that back, but there's a couple of streamers who have a name for their community. Now, I don't know if you thought about that far ahead, but like I
Nah,
have I have the Foolies. Like it'd be the name of the community is the Foolies. Have you ever thought about something like that? Or you're not that?
no, but No, but you would know what it would be called. Think
Mm.
about it. I'm Kenpachi, right? So my squad would be Squad 11,
Ooh, Squad 11.
right? Do you like
Yeah.
that? See, and that
Yeah.
was just off the fly. I just thought about that right now. But if it goes that far, I'm like, yeah, this. But people who mess with me is Squad 11.
Hey, what's up, Twitch? It's your boy Kempachi. What's up,
It's
Squad
Squad
11?
11.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there it is.
yeah, like that, right? And I was just freestyling. I just thought about that right now.
That's why we have these platicas now because stuff like
And
these magical
it's doc
moments happen all
it's
the time.
documented. Documented.
Exactly. Similar to this gaming, I know your gaming and your streaming are kind of your gaming content and your streaming are kind of two topics that go hand in hand because one
Yeah.
leads to the other. Anime is a little different. When you're creating the anime clips, what goes through your mind when you're doing that?
Like I said, like people who like the stuff, man, and really like grew up like me, like grew up a kid that just loved the anime culture and loved Japanese culture, love all that. So like that same kid I know, like is in high school, that feels outed, that feels weird. That just likes the stuff, likes their show, they hold it tight, like bam. Or people who are my same age as me, who grew up with Dragon Ball, boom. There it is. And I do have people like that that I know personally, and people like that like my stuff, and I comment, right, and I see the comment section, and I'm pretty sure they grew up at the same time frame, a little younger, a little older, right, and then they seen Dragon Ball the same time as me, which was around 1996 to 98. That's the first time America got introduced to Dragon Ball.
Mm.
So yeah, there's a
I
lot
bring
of kids out there who grew up on in Toonami. That's where Dragon Ball was introduced to the U.S.
I bring it up because I've seen a couple of your posts, your anime posts, and they're
Yeah,
not just the fight itself. A couple of them you do have the actual just the fight, the clip,
yeah,
but you
yeah.
posted this one. There was this, I think it was the Eisen post
Hmm.
on your social media. It wasn't a basic post. It had some creativity to it.
Yeah.
Do you like just think about that before, or do you just do it on the fly?
It's like I don't plan none of it out. Like the way I can describe it, the similar feeling I get to making a beat is how I feel when I make those anime edits. That's the best way I can describe it. Like, because I'm creating it. It's like I'm getting a video, right? Original show. I'm chopping and I'm film editing. I'm film editing that, and then I decide what music it goes in the background, and that's the end result. It's a whole process. So
Mm.
like I learned how to do that, and it's awesome that you're able to do that on a one platform,
And what is that platform?
TikTok.
Oh, so you edit all your videos on TikTok.
Yes, yes.
Is
And I
there a
realized and
go ahead?
realized Instagram you can do the same thing, and I'm pretty sure content creators they do the same thing too. They use the either a third party app that has more features or more filters and stuff like that, or like you could do a lot more with those third party if you pay to play. But like I said, you don't have to pay anything, bro. If you want to get started on doing something, creating something, and because what I realized with this generation of kids, they don't look up to who I look up to. I grew up Michael Jordan and people like that, Kobe Bryant. Like these are like those type of people we grew up like idolizing, right? And you shouldn't idolize no man, but we'll get deeper into that later. Um, but these are the people we look up to, right? Now these kids love social media. They want to be influencers. That's what I realized learning these past couple of years. Like they idolize, like they look up to Kai Cenat. They look up to people like that. Those are the people who they look up to. They can relate to them. They inspire to be like them. So social media is a big thing. And if you know about this society is messed up, right? So we're all on our phone all the time. So why not spread some positivity through your platforms instead of negativity. If they're gonna be doom scrolling, why not give them a nugget of wisdom, some good, you know?
Hmm. Perfect. Perfectly summarized. I have the same belief about the
Yeah,
phones and the same. I had the same conversation about that recently too, where you when we grow up, we want to be like the rappers, dog. You know, we have posters of
yeah,
rappers. That's all we talk about, or the wrestlers, or whatever, or anime characters. The youngsters, like working with the youth for past 7 years. There was a time period after 2020 where kind of the influencer marketing and influencer just the industry itself blew up. Twitch streamers blew up. Boom.
yeah.
Everybody want to be a Twitch streamer. Everybody want to be an influencer, and it's just like,
Everybody wants to do a podcast. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? They realize
what's up, fool?
everybody's
Talking
glued to
shit?
their phone.
So it is.
No, I'm saying this is the truth. This is the truth. Like
The truth.
every single comedian that I liked and watched literally has a podcast. Even the Hawk Tuah girl has a podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So like everybody and their mama has a podcast because they know why. You know why? It's because everybody's on their phone,
exactly.
glued to it. And that's a problem too, though, because you lose sight of reality. You're
Mm.
constantly doing this instead of looking around you at what's going on. They want you to be on your phone. I don't know if we're getting too real on the podcast. I don't know if how filter we have to be, you know what I'm saying? But we don't have to get deep, you know what I mean? We can just, keep it surface level.
Nah, look, hey, I've talked about this. The reason why I started a podcast, well, initially was for the branding that was connected to my clothing brand, but then working with the youth and having to go online to do the after school program, that's where the idea to start podcasting through Zoom
Yeah.
came to be. And after that, I was like, you know what?
Was that
I came,
during was that during COVID?
yeah, I came to the same conclusion, the same
Yeah.
research, whereas like they're saying the next generation, they're gonna be even more on their phones than the previous generation. And I was like, boom, so the same way is if they're
You,
gonna
you
be
ever you
on the
ever see the
internet.
movie Wally?
What's funny? I've never seen that.
Okay, so
Don't
I
spoil it for
mean,
me. It's on my list.
no, it's not a spoiler, but in the movie, it takes place in the future. I'm going to say a little tidbit about that and how it connects to this conversation. So in the movie, it takes place in the future. The world's all messed up, and the people there are all fat and they can't walk,
Mm.
and they have to use like motorized scooters, but they're hover, and they're all glued.
Walmart.
And it's a, you know what, bro? Speaking of that movie, it's a good Pixar movie. That it has a good little message about like how we're too dependent on technology.
I should go watch it.
I like it. I like it, bro. I know it's a kid movie or whatever. I know you don't have nieces and nephews. That's my excuse for watching kids movies.
I
I have
love kids
nieces and
movies,
nephews,
fool.
but that one has a good message about like, and that one came out. It's already old already, but that one has a good message about like focusing on technology and the downside to it. You know,
You're not the
it's a
first
trip.
person. You're not the first person this year to recommend me to watch Wally.
For
I
real,
should I should
it's a
watch
great
it. I've
movie.
never watched it, but it's
It's a
always
great
been on my
movie.
list. I just this past year I started watching a gang of Pixar movies, and that
Okay,
movie is still on my
not
list.
to get too off topic on Platicas, but what's your favorite Pixar movie?
Cars, no, Toy Story,
Toy Story. Which one?
the first one.
Okay, yeah, that was great.
Oh
That was
no, you know
great.
what? It has to be Finding Nemo. Nah, you know what? It's between Finding
You
Nemo
have
and Toy
to
Story.
you have to think about it because
But
there's a lot of bangers.
but
There's a lot of
let me tell you
bangers.
why. Let me tell you why Finding Nemo has to be my favorite one. And it has nothing
Yeah,
to do with the movie. It's based on a memory. Is
I see.
I was in second grade, and I don't know how my elementary school got tickets to go see Finding Nemo at El Capitan Theater in Hollywood,
Yeah,
and my mom was a chaperone. So I was a little kid, and I got to share that moment with my mama.
yeah,
And from that moment, I was like, boom, Finding Nemo. But I gotta show love to Toy Story because I was, like 2000. That was like 5 years. since the movie had came out. And I was a little
Yeah.
kid and I watched it and I was like, oh, this movie's dope as shit.
I'm gonna date myself again. I had that stuff in VCR, all those movies, all those
VHS
Disney
kid.
movies. I was a VHS kid, man. So I had all of them. All of them. Man, I was blessed as a child, bro. Like I had everything I wanted as a kid, I always had it, bro. Always
Bonus.
had it, man. I had Legos, I had the VHS, I had I had an N64. I was blessed, bro. And a lot of my friends didn't have that. And I'm not saying that because I had money, but I was just blessed, bro. Honestly.
I mean, those posts come up here and there all the time on social media about what would what would happen if I would have saved all my Disney movie VHS tapes because now
I
they're
don't
worth a lot.
Oh man, I don't even want to think about it. I will be sick to my stomach because I'm pretty sure we had collectors. You know what else we had as a kid that we had like that. I know even my sister to this day still has it. I don't even know why she hasn't flipped it. She has the original Pokemon cards.
Put them in a case ASAP, dog.
Bro, that's what I'm telling her she should flip them, bro. She
Oh,
has Charizard. I don't know if it's the first edition, but still like you can get like $300 for like regular shiny.
go get them appraised.
Yeah, she needs to do that. I always tell her like just do that shit. Man, excuse my language. I'm trying to work on not cursing. Do that stuff, like yeah, bro.
Or remember when we went to Frankensons? How they had the
Yeah,
first what was the
that was a
first three
trip.
packs? The first three
That was a
packs of the
trip.
Pokemon? Or what was it?
Yeah,
What was the first
it
three
was
packs that they dropped? It was Pikachu, was it Bulbasaur, and
Charmander.
was it Charmander, right? The first three that they dropped?
Yeah,
It wasn't Blastoise, right?
nah, probably the first three starters.
No, yeah, it was. I think it was then.
Yeah,
But you remember seeing them in a case, and I
of
think we
course.
asked like how much is for all this, and they said like 2 G's or some shit like that.
Yep,
I was like, what the fuck?
yep. It's just crazy, bro.
And we could go and talk about childhood anime and gaming, but I feel like we covered a lot of that in that first plática. I want to ask
To be honest with you, I wanna rewatch it so I can like figure out like what we
how much
talk
you've
about.
changed.
Yes, because when did we record that?
I have to go look at it.
The date,
Well, I
well, at least
can't.
the year. The
It was
year
this year. It was this year.
we recorded that this year
We recorded that this year.
for
And
reals.
yeah, it's plática number 10.
What shirt was I wearing? Orange shirt.
Nah, you were wearing
It wasn't the green shirt.
nah, you were bald fool and you were wearing the jacket, the
Humor,
navy blue and white jacket.
funny. It's crazy how much I changed with even that little time.
But speaking of change, right? Another topic related to your social media page, which is gonna lead to a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
There was a switch in your social media as well where you went from posting fool shit, funny shit, and all kinds of funny videos,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it transformed into sharing videos about Christianity. Can you talk about that
Mm.
and how much you've changed because of your faith?
Gladly, gladly. So, to be honest with you, and I wish I did. Let me adjust the camera. I want to remember. I can't remember the day. I wish I did. I can't remember the day and that I said I give my life to Christ. It was pretty recent though, because for years I didn't believe in God. I was fighting God for years. For years I didn't believe in God. I was mad at God. I was mad at God because I felt like, and this is me feeling it, I felt like God took away my mom. So I had this anger towards God. And just how I grew up in my life, and I'll blame all my problems on God. And I realized that that wasn't God's doing, you know, and and I started understanding that God has a divine plan for all of us. And then I started putting my faith to God. So this was pretty recent. I gave my life to Christ. I submitted to God, and it would just be me. I would, like doom scroll, and now I see Christian content, boom, 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 messages, boom, 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 in life. And then I would never share it. I would never share these posts. I would never share any of these reels, any of these posts, because I was afraid that it would turn people off. I was afraid what other people will think, and that was a concern that I had. I understand, like, man, I'm wrong, bro. Because what I can share with this post can open somebody's heart, open somebody's eyes. Maybe that's the post that they needed to see to help them lead to the right direction. So I went from not wanting to share anything because I was afraid some people would be looking at me as this crazy Christian or forcing people down people's throat. But it's just, there's a bigger message that needs to be spread. I have a responsibility that I need to spread the word, spread the gospel, spread the good news. So I went from not wanting to share any Christian content, from all my stories is Christian content, and I'm going to create Christian content. If that's going to help open somebody's heart and open somebody's eyes, then so be it. I don't care how they look at me or what they think about me or how they feel about Christianity, because maybe they're misinformed. Because I know a lot of people have been hurt by religion. I know people will be turned off by religion. I understand that. And I'm just saying this right now because I was once that person. I was mad at God too. I was an atheist. I didn't believe in God. If you were to tell me 2 or 3 years in the past, like, Julian, you're gonna be a Christ believer, bro. You're gonna walk with God. No, I don't believe you, dog. I don't believe you, bro. I don't believe in God. I was like that not that long ago. But then I started realizing all the things that's been happening to me, good and bad, prove God existence in my life and prove God existence. So yeah, now I don't care. I'm going to share the Christian content because I know that can help that person that's on drugs. I know that can help that person that's struggling with alcohol. I know that can hurt that person that's struggling with anxiety or pain or hurt. I'm going to share it because I know the wonders and blessing that God blessed in my life and my family's life. So I'm going to share it. If I have an opportunity to meet with somebody, talk to somebody, I'm going to talk about the Lord. I have an obligation to. So that's why you see Christian content on my stuff.
Have you lost any followers? Have anybody ever reached out to you because of this content and like maybe debated or started a debate for some reason?
When I first started, like, sharing Christian content without fear, without worrying about what other people think, I had a couple friends that, like, challenged my views, that were like, that don't have the same opinion or views on God, and it was a disagreement. I don't harbor any resentment towards them. I love them. I love them. It's crazy, bro. There's a lot of misconceptions about people who follow Christ. They think that they have a lot of hate in their heart. They don't accept a lot of people. We love people, bro, because that's what God tells us to do. We just don't agree with all the things that you do. And I want to say that. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a big difference. Like, we love on people, bro. We love the person who's hurt and struggling. We love the person who's an alcoholic. We just want them to get away from sin because that's what God wants them for them. You understand what I'm saying? They want them to get away from sin and have a relationship with God. So us as Christ believers, we got to spread that word. Like, we love you, bro, but you need to get away from that because that's not what God designed us for. It got real deep real quick.
We had multiple talks about, this change that you started going through mentally, and you were
Yeah.
so excited to talk about, you know, how much your life has changed and your beliefs and your mentality.
Yeah, yeah,
What are some things that you've changed this whole year, or mentality wise? Maybe, you know, I don't know how to describe it because you've changed so much. Can you talk about your
yeah.
change?
It's I'm telling you, bro. It's like it's me giving my life to God. That was the catalyst. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: anybody who wants to improve in their life and want to be better, I've done it this way, that way, and that way. I thought about it this way, that way, that way. Analytically, I looked in every nook and cranny for the answer. Like, how can I be a better man? And then I realized there has to be a level of humility to yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself that you're wrong and your way is not working. So you keep trying this way with all your might and all your willpower. It's not going to work if you don't have a relationship with God, because you could try your way, but it's not going to work. But if you submit to the Lord and you have faith that it's going to turn out, and you give and He provides for you, and you're not God, but He is your God, He will provide for you like He done in my life. Because all the things I prayed for and wanted in life would be a change, I see it happening before my eyes right now. Things I struggled with for years, years, Othree, years, Omar. I struggled with for years. And now I see it coming to fruition. And the only change that's in the difference between me trying back then and me now is that I said, I give up. God, take the wheel. I can't do it on my own anymore. It was a point, like, you know, that phrase, rock bottom. I had that rock bottom of pain and suffering. And I was like, God, I can't do this anymore. Please do it. It was a desperate moment. And then began my walk with God.
I know
And
we
I tell
go
you
ahead.
like this. Let me say one more thing.
No, you go ahead.
Being a Christ believer was one of the hardest things, and is one of the hardest things I ever had to do in my life. One of the hardest things, because you have to give up everything, everything, bro, everything that's people admire and want and cherish of this world. You have to give it up to the Creator, and it's hard for people to let go of these worldly things. But like I said, bro, there was a reason why I was the way I was, because I wasn't living with God. And once I started, and what God does, bro, He changes your mind. And I want to go back to a point, and it comes back full circle. If you really want to change and be a better person, man or woman in this world, you got to change your mind, how you look at the world and how you look at yourself and how you look at everything in this world, how you treat people, how you treat yourself. It's an eternal thing. So why not connect with God, your creator, right? That's going to lead you to the right direction and basically give you instructions written down and how to conduct yourself while you're in this planet for the short time frame that you are in this world. You know what I'm saying?
You want to talk about the day you were, or what was it, a song that you were
Mm-hmm.
listening to,
Uh-huh.
that you heard God's voice whisper something in your ear? What was that?
There's many songs I listen to, bro, that led me closer to God. So, you know, when you become a Christian, you know, you hear the church. It has a lot to do with music. There's a whole book that's called Psalms. So I hear God's voice a lot through music, bro. But I want to share a little tidbit though too. I used to listen to like metal,
That's the story
right?
I'm
And
talking about. Yeah.
yeah, so there's a group called Dio, you know, and I learned about it a long time ago too, that I would hear things like they would do witchcraft on music. Right now, I was riding home from work, and I heard a voice mad at me saying, "I command you not to listen to this." And I'm on my bike riding from work, and I heard in my inner conscious, I heard a voice say that with a loud, stern voice, like a father would say to a child. I command you not to listen to this. And I stopped playing it. That's never happened to me before. And I heard that song many a times.
Were you scared when you heard that, or you're like, what the fuck?
No, no. It's kind of like, it's like a son and father relationship, right? You don't want to disappoint your father. So that was more what I fear of. I want to disappoint my father.
I know we've talked about your change at this stage of your life, but growing up, were you religious at all?
So my family would go, as well as a lot of Latino households where you grow up Catholic. Even my father grew up Catholic. I talked to him a lot about, God and religion and how he grew up. He used to volunteer at the Catholic Church. So the Catholic religion was a big part of our household, And I don't remember like my mom kind of instilling it, you need to go to church. It wasn't We would go to church. It wasn't like an every Sunday thing. It did happen though. We did go to church. There was a vague memory in my heart, in my memory that we went to church, but we wouldn't go to church every Sunday. Was there a Jesus Christ cross right in front of my door, my front door in my house, my whole life, my whole childhood that I can remember? Yes. So that was there. That's a little even sign too, man, that there was a cross of Jesus Christ on my front door every time I would leave to school. Every time I would leave my house, there was a cross. My sister still has it.
Mm.
But it's little things like that.
That's when you lived
My
on Euclid?
That's when I lived on Euclid.
All right. Shout out to Euclid.
Uh uh my dad's name is Baltazar. And Baltazar is one of the three kings that gave gifts to Jesus when he was born. To all these things and signs in my life that were messages, I believe, from the Lord to get me closer to him. Even when I was in high school, I used to go to like a Christian camp, church, school. I had like a youth. It was called Young Life, a youth group. I was a Christian, but I would go there because I had crushes on a couple of girls that went to the group. That was the only reason, and that's the only reason why I went, because I wanted to talk to the girl that was in the group.
Classic.
Yeah, that was the only reason. It's not because I wanted to have a deeper, but I did get a lot from that too. But then I had a fallout with God a little bit after that, and it took like a 10 years plus journey, and then I'm back.
We like to reminisce a lot, and this past year where I started looking back of my old content and finding old videos and trying to start documenting and try to document things that I should have been documenting, but I didn't
Hmm.
get the chance to. There's a couple videos. There's a specific video I remember we were watching. I think it was a film that I recorded in high school about hip hop, and you were working at the PY at the time.
Hmm.
And in the video, you're wearing a cross. And I remember you specifically said, you pointed it out. I was like, oh, damn, even then I was wearing a cross.
Yeah, and I remember like I was like fully committed to the Lord that I am now. I don't think I had that as much conviction as I do now. Meaning like I wasn't like taking it seriously. I knew I always had a belief like there's a bigger creator in the sky. One of the things I would say when I was younger is like, it doesn't matter what religion you are, as long as they're God and you believe in God, right? And that was me for many years. And then, like I said, I started getting more serious. I gave my life to Christ. I started reading the Bible. And then it said, I am the way. Only through me you can get through the Father. And forgive me, my fellow Christians, that I didn't recognize that verse verbatim. I know you know which verse I'm talking about, but that verse right there speaks volumes, meaning that the only way to God is to submit yourself to Christ, is to follow Christ. In my firm belief, a lot of people are being deceived by the enemy. So and I was once one of them. And that's why I said that in the past, that it doesn't matter if you're a Buddhist or whatever, as long as you believe in God. But then I read the book, and it clearly says that you have to follow Christ. And that's the only way through him. Because of his sacrifice, we're only able to experience heaven. And that's the whole point.
You started going to church, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What has your experience at church been like?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I feel like, it's crazy. And, I was at church today's Sunday. And I used to think of Christianity as a cult. So it's like a full story arc. Like I used to think that the Christian faith was a cult, to sitting in church, receiving the Holy Ghost, feeling the Spirit, which is insane to me. And I see videos all the time, man, of people who are Satanists saying, "Hail Satan." This is what they said. And then, they fast forward a little bit. Now they walk with God. So if people like that can truly change, you can too. If I was once, now I say I was a Satanist back then, but I didn't walk with God. I was mad at God. But now I claim God. God is my provider, my savior, my my lifeboat, my protector, my shield. God is my everything. So imagine going through life without a protector like that. I feel sorry for you. You're going through all those pains with nothing. I feel bad for you because I know. I've been there.
That was beautiful, dog.
Yeah.
That was very beautiful. We've talked about this before, and I knew that you wanted to talk about this in that other plática,
Yeah.
but it wasn't meant to be. And
No.
now, I'm finally able to at least provide you the platform to be able to speak your mind,
Yeah.
and hopefully you clip this and you turn this into, I mean, it don't have to be content. It doesn't have to be content. But if you want to clip some stuff like this, you can.
I know there's a nugget out there, because what I just did right here on your podcast, I don't know if this is a podcast, your Plática, right?
Yeah.
What I did here is called my testimony. So what I'm doing right now is practicing when I speak to people in the earth, in the world, and when I meet people. This is what I'm gonna tell them. This was my journey, how I became a Christ believer. It wasn't easy, and I'm pretty sure I left out major details. But in the synopsis, this is how it went down. You know, and I can go on and on how much Christ has been in my life and protecting me and providing for me. How many blessings and Times he saved my family's lives. Times he, got me out of a jam for the sole fact that I just believed in him and I prayed on it. I literally said, God, take care of this for me, and like that, it worked. Because not because it's just a magic word like God do this and boom, because I believed. I had complete faith in him.
Thank you for putting your testimony on video, dog. I
Hey,
appreciate
thank
it.
you for I appreciate you for giving me the platform to speak my mind and speak my truth, and hopefully my words can help impact somebody else that's struggling, that needs an answer to their pain and suffering. And I trust me when I say this, that if you give your life to the Lord, your life will change for the better. I promise you. You can come back to me 5 years, 10 years, however long it takes. Trust me, your life will get better.
I appreciate it, dog. I appreciate you taking the time to speak your heart and soul into a Zoom meeting that took us like 20 minutes to set up.
It was meant to
It's
be. You know
it
what?
was
And I
meant
was
to be,
thinking
yeah.
about that, is that God was teaching you patience.
That was it was an interesting because it's a running
Let me ask
joke
you this.
with Soulreal and I. It's always
Look,
something always goes
how
wrong
many podcasts you record?
up until today
Yeah,
in total or
yeah.
just for Platicas.
Pláticas.
Technically, this is episode number 28, but I only have 25 available.
Has anybody had experienced similar issues to that?
No.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's a
Okay.
running joke with
Yeah, okay.
Surreal and almost everybody that he knows that it's always doing the most. Something always happens, and
Mm-hmm.
but when we figure it out, magical things
It always works out.
like this segment or section of the plática that like I said, I wanted to have it on the first plática, but we were running short on time, and I didn't know how much time I wanted to give you or how much time you wanted to take. And
Yeah.
without giving you restraints or putting you like, oh, you only have 30 minutes, I was like, let me save it for
Yeah.
part two. So it's it's great to hear, it's great to see. It's beautiful to watch it in person and to hear it. And now it's on video.
Yeah.
And now to this conversation that I've been waiting my whole life to have with you, dog, because you've given me bits and pieces of your music journey. Right?
Yeah.
I know a couple of those eras. I was there indirectly, or for up until now, it's the Osos era. But let's talk about your music journey from the very beginning. So real. When was that deciding factor? Like, I'm gonna be a musician or a hip hop head? Because I don't know. You might have played the piano. What's up with it?
When God blessed me with life,
Mm.
when I was conceived, you
And
know
then what?
why my name is Julian?
Yeah, yeah.
You know why?
You wanna let the whole world know?
So, my parents were hippies, and they were a big fan of the Beatles. And one of their favorite singers on the Beatles was John Lennon, and he had a son, and his name was Julian, and that's why I got my name Julian, from Julian Lennon.
Mm.
And my sister's name, I'll give you another musical tidbit, is Krishna. Uh, I forgot what group member. George Harrison has a song called Hare Krishna.
Mm.
So she's also named from a Beatles song. Yeah. So
Literally, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, man. I was born to make music, I believe. I firmly believe that God put me on this earth to make music,
I'm trying to
to
piece it.
create with my hands.
I'm trying to piece it right. All right, let's map it out. So you're born And then
When did I start
when did you start?
officially?
What was it? A beat? Was it a
I'm gonna break
rap?
it down. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break it
What's up
down.
with
So
it?
I'm gonna give you the timeline. So
All right, let's get
born,
it.
boom. Parents got busy. Julian,
All
born,
right, for
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Could have kept that
Fast.
not
Hey, we
in the
keeping it real in this
plática, but fuck it,
podcast.
let's get it. Let's go.
We keeping it real in the
Let's go.
podcast. Born, Julian, 1989. Boom. Fast forward, middle school. Try to be banged out, listening to gangster rap. Wooty woo, wanna be from the hood, wooty woo. Let me get put on Raider jersey, right? And I would listen to gangster rap. One of my favorite artists was Tupac Shakur. One of people I looked up to when I was younger. Um, I was so into Pac's music, I would read his poetry. He had a poetry book that came out when I was like in middle school, right? Somebody released it of his old poems. So I started writing poems.
What year was
Boom.
this?
When was I in middle school, bro?
Early
Oh,
2000s?
oh 03, oh 02,
Hmm.
2002, 2003, I think. Maybe 2001. No, 2001, I was probably fifth grade, I think.
So 2002 to 2004,
Well, something like that. Because
middle school.
2004, I was a freshman in high school.
All right, let's get it. Boom.
Okay, so middle school, boom. Uh, poems. I'll write poems. Artistic little kid. And then at the same time, I was listening to all this gangster rap. One album changed my mind, changed my world. The first time I heard in middle school Illmatic.
Mm.
Oh, my raps is trifle. So trifle. So like a rifle. I was like, oh man, I want to become an MC. Shifted my whole thing. Started writing raps. Boom, that's in middle school. You know, Fast forward a little bit more, go to high school, hanging out, hanging out with the homies, right? Boom, smoking that dope. Smokey Robinson song.
Yo, bro, that don't bring that up right now.
Okay, I'm having fun with it,
Yeah, it's just
but
funny.
okay, middle school, high school, right? I was like, boom, hanging out, kicking it with the homies, all from the hood. I wasn't. Then we would kick at the youth center, Pico Youth and Family Center. We'll go there, boom, 2004. They had a recording studio. I was already writing raps and freestyling and stuff. So I was like, boom, I have a place. You know, I was ass, lack of a better word, but I was learning. I was a kid, writing books, recording, recording the compilation album when I was a kid in
Hold
high
on.
school.
This is when they were still before Pico and Lincoln, right?
Yeah, they moved. They were up by Ninth and Lincoln.
And what compilation album
They
did you
were
show up at?
the
The first?
second one,
Okay, boom.
the second one. So yeah, so like I made my first beat at the youth center. So I made my first beat on a Trident keyboard. Boom. That was the first time I made a beat because I think during that time I found Jay Dilla. I was like, I want to be a producer slash MC. Boom, do both. So rapping and tapping and trapping and but yeah, I made my first beat that year. And then that's how I started, man. I was this kid in school, just wanted to be an MC. So like I would perform at the high school and with the homie Manny B. Shout out to Manny B. We performed in front of the whole school. That was a cool little experience. Going to hip hop shows and festivals, watching the greats do it. I seen Nas live, I seen Mos Def live, going into all those like festivals and stuff like that. Seeing all the artists I was listening to in live was definitely inspiring too. Performing a lot and through the youth center, and events and shows and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how it started.
And this was high school. Now we're getting into like the mid 2000s, right? 2005, 2006.
So after that, the youth center, because I didn't have a studio of my own, but I always depend on the studio or the Pico Center to get down. So I didn't have that for a year because it got closed down at night before they relocated to Lincoln and and Pico. So I needed a place to go, so I went to VAP. So I moved to VAP to do my stuff for a year. I did that for a couple years right there. Boom! I still kept making beats, building my catalog, building my skills as a producer and an MC, dropping mixtapes. I think I dropped a mixtape when I was in high school. Let me fast forward a little bit. That was my first ever project. Boom! That was like my first ever compilation of songs I ever released. And then after high school, I dropped my first album, which was at the VAP. I dropped album produced by myself, which is Planet Solodelic. That was my first like official album that I dropped. But I think it was around 2012, 2011. And I graduated high school 2008. So that was continuing that.
Before
And
before
then
you continue after high school, what in high school you're making beats at the PY and then at Virginia Avenue Park.
mhm.
Are any rappers that you know or people that you've met through the music, are they starting to rap over your beats at this time?
Yeah, I would yeah, that's where I think I don't know where I met Angel. That's how I met Angel. We started vibing out and stuff. I think I met him through Manny. Probably. Oh, he used to work at the teen center. So we became real cool. Started making music with him, and then me and Manny was supposed to do like a lot of projects, you know. So I was constantly. What I would do a lot for people is I would record people, so they would have their own stuff. So we'll collab that way too. And not a lot of people were rapping over my beats at the time because I feel like I was still in training mode.
Mm.
Does that make sense? So like I wasn't trying to sell beats or anything like that. I was just trying to get good. At that time, I didn't think I put 10,000 hours of mastery at that point. I think I was still in dojo mode. I was still studying. I think I think when I firmly believe I really became really good at beats was like 2018, 2019 when we were starting the Oso shit.
Bum,
That's when
bum,
I
bum,
started
bum,
like
bum.
feeling myself as a producer, like, yeah, this is it. And how I started feeling myself as an MC, that's a good question. Let me think about it. I think I don't know, I can't remember when Pico Reps dropped. That's when I started feeling myself as a rapper. Like I knew I was good.
You went to the recording school, right? Was that during high school, after high
Oh,
school?
I forgot
Was
about that tidbit
was it
too.
before we met?
I didn't graduate, but I went for 2 years. Not 2 years, not even 2 years, 6 months. I went to a music program.
Mm.
So that was like 2 years after high school.
So like
So yeah,
2010?
2010, 2011.
So this is before we even met. Those are
Yeah.
like most of the questions that I have about your music journey happened before we met in 2012
So I
because
went to recording school. I was going to the Virginia Avenue Park Teen Center,
okay.
and then the Pico Center was still reopening and stuff like that. So I was there for a little bit, build relationships there, collab with artists and whatnot, recorded songs and stuff like that. There was a bunch of like freestyling and you know
The
getting
hip hop.
immersed in the culture. There was the graffiti. It was a little that little time frame was dope because it was like a little pocket of like hip hop at the park because what you call it, they had Graph and that the studio we had like ciphers right outside. One of my fondest moments, and he's no longer here anymore, but one of the homies he killed himself. He was in that cipher, and it was like a group of like 10 kids, bro, like 10 to 15 kids all in the cipher. It was dope. It was like late night, just freestyling, bro. This shit was sick.
The hip hop. And then, I had Alex here on Platicas at the
Yeah.
very beginning. He was talking about the One Nation Hip Hop Summit, and
Oh,
those
let
are
me say
going
something.
around.
RIP Tone. That's what I'm talking about. For people who grew up in the community, RIP Tone. He killed himself and he was a cool cat. For
RIP.
those who know him, yeah, RIP.
Never met
Continue.
him, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's
He was a dope graffiti artist. So he was like, and the thing is, dog, back then we were all hip hop nerds. So we were listening to like underground, like
studying
anything
the
underground.
culture.
Yeah, so like the graph was going on. We would trip on the LA hip hop scene and underground scene. Like everybody was a hip hop head. So everybody knew about everybody, like the Delta Funkies, like fucking Atmosphere, Evidence, Dilated. It was in that that's what we was listening to.
Mhm.
That was the inspiration. The real LA underground hip hop scene.
Did you perform at the One Nation Hip Hop Summits that Alex
Yeah,
and
that was a big moment for me because I was on the same stage with Curious One. I forgot. See, you even know more than my story than me. I forgot about that. So yeah, that was in 2007.
I did my research? What's up with it, dog?
That's right. That's right, Pedro.
That's right there, right? All right, continue
Yeah.
before we go on
So
this
yeah,
fucking stupid tangent about shit.
2007, big moment. I was like, that made me want to take rapping seriously. Now I remember now. Yeah. After that, I
All
was
over
like,
the place and shit.
I want to be a rap. I want to be an MC. Now, like, yeah, I'm taking it seriously.
This is still before we met, 2012. My next question is: you started the first PY compilation album. When would the third one start taking place? And what was your role during that project? Because at this point, you're the
So,
established artist on
no, wait.
the card,
So,
right?
but even before we go to that.
Oh, now you want to tell me, fool? What's up with it, Don?
Wait, I'm trying, because it's been a long time, so I'm trying to remember everything, bro. So,
That's cool, fool. I'm just fucking with you.
uh, I'm trying to remember when I got hired to the PY as a consultant. I want to say 2017.
Nah, way before that.
I'm trying to remember.
We're talking about the third compilation album. You were still considered the
Oh,
PY All
youth.
Stars, right? You're still considered a
Oh,
youth,
yeah. So that I had my first job back then.
but you were already making
Yeah.
beats for the compilation albums at this point, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't the main producer. So, but I definitely contribute to verses, and I don't know if I got any beats on that third one. That was all mnemonic.
Hmm. You're on
And
the
then
cover though.
I'm in the cover. Arms crossed, I'm assuming.
You were.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was my you know how like games that have emotes? That was my standard emote.
that was your emo right there, the
Yeah.
hip hop hit.
That is my default emote.
Any of the beats that you made back then that you still have or you remember, like, oh, this shit is hard. This is a hit.
I always felt that about every beat, I don't have like though those are old beats I wish I had. I think I still have some that's that old, like from 2017 and up. I remember I had an older hard drive and it got messed up. So a
Mm,
lot of my files were lost and I
damn,
had to start from scratch, which is a
tragic.
blessing, because, now I'm all good. I have a hard drive, I backed up everything. Yeah.
Maybe I'm just curious. Maybe that's just because I like hearing about other rappers or other like musicians in general, just their story, their music journey. Everybody has, a different way how they got to their point that we're, when we're talking right now, it's November 17th, it's 8:46 p.m. Everybody has a different route to the moment. And during this time, now we're going back to post high school era before we met.
Hmm.
You're already recording verses with Angel and Manny, right? Because I remember
Yeah.
listening to music on SoundCloud that was released before I even got there.
So yeah, one of the biggest dreams that I wanted to do, I was wanting to create a
Hmm.
Wu Tang for the West Coast, bunch of members, and then that's when we did the whole Pico Reps thing for a couple years, and we was trying to work on the project, and we was all cool, hanging out, kicking it, and making music. I was the main producer, and yeah, it was all homies that I, you know, grew up with, or got to met and be real cool with, and yeah,
Santa Monica heads,
yeah, man. It
just
was
straight
supposed
from
to
the
be like
city.
a straight Santa Monica group. That was like the goal of it.
Part of the Pico Rep story when the music started coming out comes out later, but now early 2010s, 2011, 2012 rolls around, and I show up 2012. The
Hmm.
story, I don't want to tell the story again, but the ethnic studies beat, first time I ever heard it, it was my first day at the P, not my first day at the PY, but it was the first official day of my internship. We met. Now we didn't really become cool like that till years later, but that was the moment that I met Soulreal. Was January 3rd, 2012, music studio, 7 p.m. I'll never forget this shit. And you just dismissed the beat because it's just, to you it's a beat, but to me is a core memory and my music journey. I
Nice.
wanted to bring it up. I knew I was gonna bring it up, but now time moves on. It's 2012, and it's Steam starts picking up with the music because now I'm a witness to it.
Yeah.
And then the idea to create Angel's album. What was that like on your side? What was the deciding factor with that?
Um, if I can recall, I think that's the first album that I can remember that I produced for somebody else. So I produced this album, and it was a blessing because I was able to show my skills at that point and where I was at, and we were both cool and stuff. So we vibed out and created this album.
There was these videos that would show up. This was before like social media content was anything. I think it was Angel's channel, or was it your channel? And then you're
Hmm.
making the beats, and I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, as a fan, listening, I'm still, in high school, I'm like, oh, I want to be like these fools, right? I want to be
Right.
like these fools. And I've always wanted to be a part of a group and shit. But to see you guys, start, because I started getting cool with Manny, and obviously I'm cool with Angel because he worked at the PY2. But aside from Angel's album, you're also now starting to develop your beats, and they're starting to show up a little bit more on the compilation albums. Now we're talking about compilation album number 4, the
Yeah.
PY, the Union. How many beats do you remember you have on that project?
I don't remember, but that was Javis who was working there at the time. So
Jay
I
Brave?
kind of helped Jay Brave, and he was working at the park beforehand. That's how I met Jay Brave, and then we would collab over there at the PY.
Mm,
So once the PYFC opened up again, and then like some of us migrated back
mm.
to over there. So we needed a place to kick it at while we were doing our music because it wasn't just me. It was me. GA had his own little music thing. I had my own little music thing. We all did it at the park for the meantime while the PYFC was opening back up. Yeah.
PY compilation albums, volume 4, Angels, um, album, which took a little bit longer to release, but you're also working on Planet Solidelic at the time, correct?
Yeah. That was when I was going to that time frame. I was making music at the Virginia Avenue Park while
Mm.
the PYC was opening up.
Those were those
That's where,
beats.
yeah.
I remember the
So
cover. You made the who made the cover for you? It was somebody at the P-Way, right?
that was the homie, and I can't remember. Forgive me, I can't
But
remember. I think I want to say the homie Andrew did it for me. Shout out to him, but I don't know. I can't remember to be honest with you.
I remember you released it and I was listening to it because
That
the
was my
only
first project. That my first album. That's the one.
everything you fools dropped back then, I would listen to it. So when you dropped an album, I was like, oh shit, because all I ever heard from
Those
you
Angel stuff.
were just like previews of Angel stuff, but mostly PY stuff.
Yeah,
Right? That's all I knew from you. And this is I'm telling you, this is even before we were cool like that. So it
yeah,
was just kind of like, hey, what's up, dog? Like we would chop it up and but I would listen. I would listen to everything. I'd go to Angel's SoundCloud or go to your SoundCloud or go to Manny's SoundCloud back in the day and I would listen to everything, because at the time I didn't really have anybody to look up to in terms
yeah,
of the music. You fools were like my teachers. I remember you sat me down like, hey, this is how you write. Like I was still at the PY.
yeah.
I was an intern, and you're like, this is how I write. And to this day I still write like that. When it comes to writing it
That's
on
humor.
paper,
I didn't know that.
so you know how you number your bars?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that I've been doing that my whole life, and I was like, I learned that from Soulreal. So I was,
That's
as a
awesome.
witness, I'm listening, I'm picking up game, and I'm seeing you fools, as a group, but then as individual artists, I'm seeing you fools do your thing. But for you specifically, then you drop what was the other one? Quantum Physics.
That was after. So
That
that
was
was
after.
after I was recording at the park. So I
Huh.
did Quantum Physics. That was a mixtape because at the time I found out about Flying Lotus, became a fan of him. Thanks, shout out to Manny B, because he did a joint on a Flying Lotus joint, and I was like, man, this producer is sick. But he didn't make hip hop beats. I forgot it was more electronic beats and stuff, but he had some dope stuff. So I just did a whole concept on the Flying Lotus joint, and I was just getting deep to the spiritual realm that and being a spiritual person and energy at that time, and that was like a whole thing about like getting deep into it. So that's why I named it Quantum Physics, just getting deep with it.
I'm telling you, we might fuck around and when we reminisce a lot, but I was listening, dog. I was paying attention.
No, it's a humbling experience because I don't think about it that much because it's in the past. But yeah, it was a beautiful start. Like my music journey.
And then things kind of stay the same. And you're still working on the PY album. You're still not the music engineer, the head engineer, but you're
Yeah,
still you're coming around a lot. You're working on Angel's album after hours, or working on your
yeah.
stuff or Pico Rap stuff and everything. I'm not there during those sessions, but anything in particular that you remember about those sessions besides the kicking it? Any like
It
funny
was
memory?
fun, just fun, man. It was We were all hungry, and Angel wanted to do his project, so he was excited about that. And Manny was young and hungry. I was young and hungry, and we were just, homies just making music, straight kikiando, all from Santa Monica. So we were all, collab, man. It was dope.
And then you probably don't even know this, but I was listening to Angel's his songs before they were not I didn't listen to the full album before it dropped,
Yeah,
but he would
yeah.
show me some songs, you show me some songs, and I remember there was one time you sent me a beat. This is before Angel had chose it.
Hmm.
He chose the beat eventually. I forgot what song it was, but I think it was These Frustrations, and you sent me the original beat that you made for that sample from that sample, and I
Mm.
had a whole song, dog. I literally had a whole song, and then you hit me with the oh, fool, my bad, dog. This is gonna go on Angel's album. Fool, I was
Yeah,
devastated. I was devastated.
dang.
Tragic.
I'm sorry to hear that,
I was
bro.
mad for like a week. I was like, nah, fuck this fool. Like, like
Yeah.
how could you do that to me? And then yes, you like, nah, fool, like, this is I was not there yet. That's what you literally told me. It's like you're not there yet, dog. You don't have the rights to choose the beats. You literally told me straight up like that, and I was like, fuck. And I was even more mad, and I was like, fuck, you know. But it,
Yeah.
it was humbling being around you fools because if it wasn't for y'all, I don't think I would ever challenge myself because it's easy to listen to like the mainstream or even the underground hits and be like, oh, I'm inspired by them. But when fools are really doing it, that
Yeah,
inspiration's a little bit like it goes even deeper it hits the soul even deeper because you know them on a personal level, and then when
yeah.
you're inspired by the stuff that you're doing, it challenged me and it forced me to become better. During that time, what was your motivator? What was making you lock yourself into the dungeon and be like, I need to be better?
I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the best, and if not the best, in top five. So that was like my driving force. Like I want to be the best producer that come out of Santa Monica.
There it is. That
Yeah,
was the driving force.
yeah, that was it. And I wanted it. My inspiration was like I wanted, how people talk about Dilla and how great he was as a producer. That's the same recognition that I wanted. I want people to hold me high. Like, yeah, he was dope. Like I love his music. I grew up on his music. Now I don't want that anymore.
I'm trying to think of any other major event. Well, because then Angel's album is released, and
Yeah,
during this time, I'm also getting ready to move to Ohio. So I'm
right.
not really locked into what's going on over there anymore. At that point, I'm already cool with Chris, right? My boy Sino. Shout out to my boy Sino. So every time
You're you're honorary Santa Monican.
so at this point, I'm already,
You're embedded in the
I'm from
hood,
the
the
west side
culture.
already. I'm
You're
from the west
yeah,
side. I know fools out there
an East Sider. That's a West Sider at the same
at the
time.
same
How's
time, right?
that at the same time?
And so like now I'm chilling with Sino a little bit more because I
Shout
want to
out to
do more.
Chris, bro. That's the homie, bro.
I want to do fun shit, right? Like I want to do
Yeah,
fun shit out before I leave to college. So I kind of just stop asking questions about the album and I just let it be. And I start hearing these songs, and I think it dropped in 2014, right? Or
yeah.
late 2013, around that time.
Can't remember.
I hear the album, I'm like, oh shit, obviously big fan of Angel, and then a big fan of you and your production. Any particular song that sticks out from that album now, years later, that that
It's
you
been
remember?
it's been a minute. I can't remember the titles of the songs. I don't know
I
if you
rem-
want to pull them up to help me.
I remember them my memory for what's up with it. No, I don't know. I
I
don't.
do. Yeah. So I think it's one of the later songs. I can't
I'll
remember the
ask you.
name.
I'll ask you about. Let me see.
There's like two beats I felt like I spazzed on, like meaning like
Little Homie or High School Days?
no,
Was it
I have to hear
the
them.
Manifesto?
I have to hear it, and
Soul
I could tell
Pain?
you like I
These
have to hear it.
Frustrations? There's a song in there.
I think one of them was defrustration, but I might be wrong. I
That's the
have to
big.
hear it though. I have to hear it though.
All right, we'll table this discussion for a later time. So
Yeah,
now, you listen to the album. There's a bonus track in there called "With the PR,"
yeah,
and that's the first song you guys released as a group. But now it's more than the three of you, correct?
yeah. So
What was
first to start, so first, okay. So let me give you a little backtrack on Pico Representatives. So fast forwarding to, we're winding to high school. My first mixtape I ever dropped, I recorded at the PY over YouTube Beats, by the way,
classic?
and classic. And the mixtape was called Pico Representatives. I think Volume Two. I did two of them, and I can't remember when I dropped the other one, but I remember specifically
Yeah.
doing the second one. And what I did was I burned the CD. That's how old I am. I burned the CD, and I don't know if I gave it to my peers in high school. Like, boom, here's my tape. Boom. Like I was handing out mixed CDs at the in high school, so people had my joint. I don't know if I had the case and all that. It was basically a burn CD of my album, and I would give it out to people. I don't know if I was. I don't think I was selling it back then, but yeah, I was giving out my mixtape to people, and
Fuck yeah.
I remember some of my high school peers from back then, like, yeah, I still have your CD, bro. I still have your album. Like, bro, let me hear that because I don't even have it myself. I want to hear that joint, even though I might. cringe at it, but I want to hear it back then, like how I sounded, what was I like,
Mm.
you know?
Pico representatives.
Yeah, and that was like, and then we just shortened it to Pico Reps, and that was like the joint because we all grew up in the neighborhood. So that's how Pico Reps, the name became the beat.
I didn't know it was that intricate. I just thought it was just some
Yeah,
shit your fools
but that
agreed
was
to
a
call
little
it.
bit. No, that was the background because I had a mixtape in high school. Like,
Mm.
like I said, I was giving out the CD, boom, to people hustling.
And then fast forward now, you dropped the first song, right?
Yeah.
At what point did you guys grow from the three of you fools to five?
So you know, it's a small community, so everybody knows everybody and their mama.
Obviously, I could
Yeah. So and we went to
I
school.
could
Like I
prove that.
said,
I
so
could
like I
vouch for
said,
that.
we will have those little ciphers at the park.
Ah,
And a
okay.
lot of the graffiti heads and the taggers, the tagging crews, will get down with the hip hop freestyling. And then one of the homies, uh, Daniel Dano, he was dope. He wanted to be down and stuff. So he became into it. And then Manny B wanted to bring in Redefine, and me and him were cool too, because I knew his sister and I knew him too. He was a little bit younger than me. I think he's around Manny's age, and he was dope too. So we brought him into the fold. It became 5 members.
It was Angel, Manny B, Redefine, Smooth Brother, and Soulreal.
Soulreal. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
You're making the beats, right? It was always
Yeah.
your beats, correct?
I'm gonna be the producer. Yeah.
And then I hear with the PR, I was like, okay, because now I'm over there. I'm listening to it like, okay, it's just building momentum, tuning
Yeah.
in, not as much like as I used to. Angels, his album drops and music videos are being filmed and more content gets put out,
Yeah.
right? And I'm hearing that you fools are performing. What was that like during the time performing as a group?
So one of the biggest things that happened with us was we had the opportunity to open up for Rakim,
Mm.
and that was dope. And I think it was because we knew some of Big Duke's people, one of the people that used to mess with him or still work with him to this day. I'm not sure. And there was a show they were organizing, and then we got to open up for. We're like either the second or first act, but when we showed out, we had a lot of our people in the crowd, so the crowd was rocking with us. So a lot of people from the neighborhood pulled up and stuff, and it was dope. I wish somebody would film that day because it was a really dope moment. Cause we practiced it, we was rehearsing, we did all the songs, we was doing our thing. That was a big moment for us.
And all this stuff is being recorded at the PY After Hours, correct?
Yeah, because Angel was a staff member at the time. Before he was working at the park, then he worked at the PY for a bit, and then we
What
will
the keys?
still do the music stuff after hours, and we weren't just youth. Now we're kicking it, making music after hours. So when you had the keys to the studio, you was good. You could
It's a
be there
wrap.
all night,
Yeah.
kicking it, making music and stuff.
At the time, I feel like I did like one late night session
Yeah,
when I was in high school. So I kind of understand what that felt like. It was weird, being at that center alone at after hours, but all this music's being made. Now you fools are performing. At
yeah.
what point did the idea of the logo or the merch come to play?
Oh, I think it was more redefined. I think he made the shirts,
Hmm.
so that was like he was a driving force behind that. I was like, yeah, it's dope. So we all agreed. It was like we had a democracy. We all agreed upon everything. So boom.
I was mad I never got a shirt, dog. I'm still mad to this day. Anyways,
I don't even got a shirt to this day. Just kidding.
and even and then with the PR, there's a music video behind it, right? You
Yeah.
fools, you got the five of you
Shout
fools
out shout
repping.
out to Clay Scheller, wherever you are, bro.
Shout out to
I'm still
bro, and
yeah.
you got
He
fools
he
from the community in
he
the background.
he filmed the whatchamacallit, the music video. So that
And
was fun. Cause now I think about it, that was my first
that was you guys'
isn't it
first, right?
first me personally my first
Hmm.
music video. But I didn't have no music video like that, you know, like because me, I always wanted to do it right. Like I wanted to look good. So that was my first ever like music video I, filmed and whatnot. And that was Manny's boy.
Mm.
But we all grew up in the community. Manny was real close to him, so that was his connect. And Clay was a cool cat, you know. So shout out to him and hope you're doing well wherever you are, man.
Merch, performances, logo, 5
Hmm.
members, and then Game Changers drops. Right, the
That was the
music
first
video.
video. Yeah.
That was the second. That was the first video as a whole, right? As a collective. No, the
No,
second one. It was the second. The
the
when you're
second
in
one
the
because
football field.
we shot
Yeah,
with
with
the
the PR.
PR first,
Okay.
and then we did the second one, Game Changers.
How did the production of the music videos? Was that a team effort? Was that something Clay took care of, or
That was
everybody
all
directed their
Clay.
own scene?
That was all Clay's creativity, and you know, I mean, we directed him where we are gonna shoot the shots, and he was working with us, but he coordinated it. So yeah,
And throughout all this mess, you dropped this video called "Cooking with Soul."
yeah, that was around the same time we were doing all that
Right? It was funny because we just looked at it the other day when we were chilling.
cringe compilation. I have to look at it
Cringe
again.
compilation.
Yeah, I have a lot of that in my career for sure.
The concept we talked about this. The concept is dope. Maybe the kitchen part is that's a little questionable. But what I think the video itself was dope. I'm telling you, I was watching things and whenever I had the chance, like, oh shit, this was
Yeah,
really put together. It was different. That's why I liked it. 'Cause it was different.
you
You
have to
know,
be.
it
You
was
have to
funny.
be.
It was
Yeah.
funny, and even if you want to consider it cringe or whatever, I thought it was creative and it was funny. It was
I
different.
don't think it's cringe, but it's cringe to me because I feel like I can do better now. Now that I have that idea and
Yeah.
have the ability to do it on my own. But now, like back then, I was younger, so I didn't know what I was doing. So it, I, I appreciate it because it built me up to where I'm at right now.
And then you feel split up. Now I don't know
Yeah,
what the hell happened. I have I never
egos.
I never told.
So we don't have to get deep into it, but it's just
Man, I don't
it's
really.
all it's just a matter of egos, bro. And when you ever have five
It's hard. Yeah.
Latino males with a lot of testosterone and and pride. Everybody feels like this is what we should do and this is
Mm.
what we should do, and and it's not gonna work.
I
We
have.
have to. You have to when you're in the group with people, you have to remove the ego
Mm.
and all come to agreement. And I think even me, like I'm not saying this about, I'm not pointing fingers on anybody. I'm more speaking upon myself. Like that's how I was thinking at the time because I feel like this should be the direction of the group, and then this person is like it should be like this, and yeah, there can't be. The thing is, bro, when it's a group, there can't be too many cooks in the kitchen. It has to be like somebody that makes the decision. For instance, when it comes to like Wu Tang being an example, RZA has the final say, but they all speak upon it, talk about it, but ultimately when the whole span of how Wu Tang came to be is like if you ever watched the Hulu video documentary, like the show, he's like, give me 5 years and I'll take you where we need to go. But you have to do what I say. Somebody had to take leadership, and that was part of the problem. Like everybody wanted to be the leader, and that's never gonna work.
I have a. I'm trying to remember if it's an old phone. Let's just put it like that. I don't want to get into specifics. I have
Yeah,
an old phone, and in that old phone, it was. I think it was my first or second phone that I ever owned in my life. That was
yeah,
my first phone. I think it was my first phone I ever owned in my life. It was iPhone 5. I was in college. I never updated it. And there's a text message that I have from Manny. I trip out. I got to
yes,
screenshot this shit. I have a text message from Manny when I was still chopping it up with him like that on a regular basis. And I asked him something about the Pico reps. And this was like shortly right after Game Changers dropped the music video. And I asked him a question, and he was like, "Yo, Pico Reps is no more." I was like, "What the fuck?" Right? Because you leave, everything's good. Now you're over there, you kind of just like hear things are dropping, boom, boom, and then just like that, shit just ends. And I was like, "What the fuck?" I was in shock, right? But
Mm.
at the time, when I would come visit, I didn't really, I wanted to know or whatever, but I didn't really care too much because I wasn't really popping up to the west side like that, like that. You know, we
Yeah,
we kind of start connecting a little bit more as the years go by. That 3XL beat that I got, my favorite beat that you've ever produced, that's a 2014 beat. People don't know this, but that's a song that you emailed me. I have emails. I have the original emails on my
that's
email,
crazy.
on the Rowdy Regime email, where it says so real, or your email, and it says the beats. And now you're sending me beats, right? And now I'm like, okay, so real got the Pico reps and you got his individual stuff, but like, when are we gonna make some fucking music, right? And I come back in 2016. This is oh no, before we get into like our also stuff. Now you're still a youth, or now you're hired at the PY?
I think shortly after Volume 4, uh, they
Like
needed a new music consultant,
like
and
2014.
then 2014, 15.
Mm,
I can't remember the time I got hired to the PY,
then you
and
get
it was
hired
only natural. And then I got hired because I was working there for for nonprofit,
for
for lack
free.
of a for free as a youth,
Put it like that. It's for free,
for free, for free.
but
Then
it's
I
cool.
got
You live and you learn. Anyways,
I don't harbor any resentment towards anybody. I just say that as a joke. But what you call it? Yeah, I got hired as a staff, and that was a big moment for me too because I love the center, and at the time, I was
the evolution.
all
You
the
started off as a youth. Now you're working there.
all cool with everybody, the staff members, youth included, and became staff. I knew how to I knew how to operate the software, and, like the back of my hand. I learned it, and I went to school for it a little bit, and it helped me out. And I
And
was able to
it didn't hurt.
facilitate that.
It didn't hurt the fact that Santa
I knew
Monica's a
they,
small city, right?
yeah,
You knew a bunch of people your age, and now they have younger siblings that go to the
yeah,
studio. Now you're known in the community. You know what you call like one of those local celebrities. My boy So
mhm,
Real, even though fools don't want to admit it, but people knew who you were, right? If you go to
yeah,
the studio, there's like, hey yo, it's So Real here. It's So Real here. I remember hearing that shit all the time. As the youth would pull up, it's like, hey, So Real here. I would say that shit too.
yeah,
Hey yo, it's So Real here. And then when you were in there, it was cool. I had nothing against the fools that were running the studio, but
yeah.
I was like, that's
I,
like you got to do the go-to person at that point. But now you have the title as the
yeah.
music director, consultant, whatever. When did the compilation number 5 start uh being talked about?
I'm not sure, but during my span, it was a annual thing. We'll drop the album, and I we started working on the album. And that's how I built relationships with some of the kids from West End during that time frame, and we they were like the superstars on that album. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's their cringe moment, but
Well, I
but
mean,
it's a beautiful moment because like I said, you see these kids grow up and they become awesome people.
I had
And
my moment in album 4, and then I only had one song in that fifth. Was it one song?
yeah,
It was the opener. It was that Spanish song, Casa de PY.
no way.
And it was your
That's
beat,
funny.
and you recorded that too. I'll never forget that shit.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, West
I don't
End,
even
those
know I don't know
youngsters,
how I don't even know how that sounds.
I forgot how it goes. I have it on my YouTube channel. But the
Yeah.
West End, the youngsters, they're the main attraction, or
They were like baby
the
Pico reps.
baby Pico reps. I don't know what title you want
Yeah.
to put it, but they're the West End. If you're West End natives, you're from that era, you know who we're talking
Yeah.
about as a collective of youngsters and shit. And then you hit me
Yeah.
up that you're doing a release party for album number 5, 2015. and I get to perform at the PY as a solo artist. Because up to that point, only time I'm ever performing was ethnic studies, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm able to perform at the PY. I got my goal is accomplished. And this is when our relationship takes the next step. Now we start talking about like when we're gonna do music.
Yeah.
Right? But I leave, right? I go back to college. I come back the year after, and now you're working on album number 6, or the idea starts popping up, or whatever. I don't even know what point it is. That wasn't even in our mind. We linked
Yeah.
up, Spirit of the Drum. Boom. Right? You remember that shit. What was
Yeah.
that beat? You remember the beat, making that beat? What was that like? Because I wasn't there for that.
I don't remember making that beat, but I would say when it comes to us making music and being a collaborative duo,
Bam, 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 bam,
that
bam.
was a staple of
That was the
partnership in terms
beginning.
of that was a solid like foundation to how we became like, all right, we can do something.
Because up
So you
until that
want to
point, right, we haven't made any
we've
songs.
been cool. We've been cool, but that was like a point of like we have chemistry over the music stuff. Like we can really like make something.
You're the consultant still. Now I come
Yeah.
back a year later, 2017. Now we're chopping it up like home. Now we become homies, dog. Right
Yeah,
now
we're cool.
we're kicking it.
At this point, we're cool for years at this point.
Cool for years. Now you're building up your little studio at your pad, right? What was that like? Was that like a dream come true? Now you're able to build your own little home studio.
Yeah, yeah. It was a long time coming because I wish I had this. That's why the PY was so pivotal because that's why I'm grateful for it. As much as uh negative you can say about the PY, I made my first beat at the PY. So that's why I'm forever grateful.
Spirit of the
Uh
Drum recorded at the
Spirit of
PY.
the Drum, we did the Osos Volume 1
At the
at the
PY.
PY. So like, a lot of good moments happened. So it wasn't all bad, it was some good that I appreciate. Like, yeah, like I got down, like I had a lot of good memories. Musically, that was like were staple moments, the Pico Reps thing, like I said, making my first beat there, pivotal moments in my music career, and I appreciate it. And that's where it stayed.
And then you're slowly building your studio, but you still don't have you, you still don't have everything set up. So I come back
Yeah,
and we're chopping it up, and you start telling me about this idea that you had about making some funk music,
yeah,
and you show me
yeah.
some funk music, not like rap, funk. But I think, what was the idea behind that little
So after Pico
experiment?
Reps, the whole fallout, it was supposed to be me and Smooth Brother wanted to make an album, and then we wanted to do a funk album, and that didn't work out. He stopped rap. He hanged the towel. So I'm out here dolo, you know, trying to figure out. Okay, I still want to do a group thing. It didn't work out with Pico Reps. The second try with Smooth Brother didn't work out. We were supposed to be Science Function.
Mm, I
And
remember
that was the
this.
group. And so that
Yeah.
was that, right? So and that didn't work out. He quit rapping. And then
You get a phone call. What's up, fool?
we started collabing. And like I said, the Spirit of the Drum was like, yeah, you know what? Let's do this funk stuff. So let me continue this idea with you. And look what happened. I would
Oso's.
say I would say that was a good idea, wasn't it?
That was a great idea.
Yeah.
It was
And it
something that
worked
you wanted to
out.
do, and it was something that I wasn't willing to do, but you kind of convinced me to experiment
Third
and get out of my bubble.
third third time's the charm.
Beep beep beep
Hmm.
beep.
But
So
yeah,
so
man.
many questions about Osos, right? I don't know. I could only speak from my perspective,
Let me go
but
ahead. Go ahead. I mean, we're going in chronological order. So it was from PY album being the consultant to the compilation, and then Volume 5 we have Spirit of the Drum, and
right, and
then
then yeah, that was it.
Osos, and then
Because
Osos drop. Oh,
to finish off the PY stuff, because eventually, well, you could talk about that for a bit, but at least for
yeah,
compilation number 6, right? The only song that we had was Spirit of the Drum, which wasn't even created for that specific album. We dropped it for ourselves, and then they approached us like, "Hey, you want to put the song on the album?" We're like, "Fuck it,"
yeah,
At that point,
yeah,
that was your last compilation album, right? What happened
yeah.
at the end of your PY tenure?
I think I got let go. I let go, and for the best. I put a good 7 years, and then not even including the year I was volunteering as a youth. To the PY.
More than 10 years at that point.
More than 10 years. So it was time for me to move on, and it was a good thing for the best.
But even between all this, right now, this Osos. Now we're starting to form Osos. You're making these beats, right? I was excited. How excited were you that now you're finally able to start something different? I
It
never
was
had something like that. Remember, I didn't come from a group background.
it was a brand new start, so I was glad that we started something new, and it was free. It was something different from I was originally recording. Because I was traditionally recording like boom bap stuff, and yeah, it was something different.
Do you remember what the conversation was about making the album? I don't really remember. I was still on my fucking rowdy shit during the time, so I would drink a lot. My memory's kind of fuzzy. I still have all the original writings, but
The
you
whole the whole
sober head and shit. So you remember anything about that era?
for
First album.
volume 1, it was like we was excited. We wanted to do the funk stuff. We grew up listening to G Funk, and you got the Dr. Dre picture. Meets me. I grew up with that, so we wanted to do some G Funk, and but do it different. It was gonna sound different. It wasn't be like the typical like
Bum
swap
bum bum
meet
bum bum.
swap meet stuff. So in the swap meet mixtapes type. It was gonna be something different. So it wasn't gonna be like Cholo influence. It was gonna be like us, something different. So and to have a song like
Oh, Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, so that to have a song named Doctor Strange when the very first song was first song was very it's
Different.
very telling. It's gonna be a different type of music. So it was like experimental. So it was like funky, West Coastish, but it was like I would say it was like hip hop, man. It was like a blend of all kinds of stuff into one. So yeah, man. I think at the time, we were influenced by Chicano culture. We're influenced by Fools Gone Wild because they were popping off at the time.
Oh,
So
this is
that
right before they
influence,
blew up too. Remember, this is when
that's
they.
why. So we started seeing like the viral
Yeah.
memes of the Fool community and just everything Fool, like the essays and making funny memes of like, all that influenced our music heavily because like that was gonna be a reflection of our music. So yeah, because we were fools too.
Who that shit bangs is the name of the
So
tape.
yeah, yeah.
And
So it was definitely inspired by that timeline of the time frame where Fools Gone Wild was blowing up.
I'm not gonna get too into detail with the songs, but there's a core memory, and you could talk about this too because it was because of you that we did this. But when we're filming, filming when we're recording album number 1, Dragon Ball Super is at the Tournament of Power, right? And then
That's that was a beautiful moment to me.
you tell me, oh, I'm watching them on the projector, right? And I think the final 3 weeks, I would pull up with my cousins and the homies, and we're watching Dragon Ball Super on the projector,
It's
surround
like
sound.
it was like
Woo!
watching a pay-per-view moment that we paid for. It was like a biggest fight that like
That shit was
Muhammad Ali
crazy.
versus Tyson in the prime. Like, not no, not what's the name? Jake Paul, wherever the name is. But like it was like a big thing, like
Yup.
for if you like Dragon Ball. And it was a good moment because like I said, we're recording the album and we're all nerds. We grew up with Dragon Ball and it was amazing. And I hold that memory dear to me because it was like
It was dope.
reliving my childhood because like I don't know about you. When Goku turned Super Saiyan for the first time, that's how I felt when I seen Ultra Instinct and go against Jiren. I
The
was like, what?
first time I ever seen Goku transform was in Spanish. I was a little
Yeah, because
kid.
you grew up on the Mexican dub,
The Spanish
Spanish
dub.
dub. Yeah, but it
But
was popularized in Mexico.
yeah, I don't know if the voice actors were Mexican, but it sounded like Mexican. It was on the Mexican
No,
channel.
it was definitely Mexican. They were Mexicans for sure because it's like
It was dubbed
they
specifically for
they
Mexico, right?
yeah they had, and then all the Latin countries got that dub that came from Mexico.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if
All right.
it first came to Mexico and then all the other Latino countries.
For sure. But
Yeah,
that was a dope moment being there with my peoples and being at the PY after hours. We're recording album number 1, right? And then we drop it. Now we're like, hey, let's start working on album number 2. But before we talk about album number 2 and the single and album number 3. Were you working with other people at the time?
yeah. I'm pretty sure I was collaborating with folk. I can't remember for the life of this day. I was at this point, I got a lot of beats in my catalog, so I was shopping beats and trying to figure out, okay, how do I get everything digital and create my website and all that was in the works, like making it official. You know what I mean? So and having a beat store and then people would be able to purchase my beat online and then meeting people throughout the years through shows and people were like hitting me up on IG because of my music stuff. Yeah, I was collaborating with folks here and there.
Then the idea to record also volume 2, Sick
Yeah,
Ass Fools, it becomes an idea. Then we start working on it. Now we're working on it at your house.
yeah, sir.
Some of the beats started at the PY, correct?
Yeah,
Or no?
yeah. I think it was a little bit of both.
Oh yeah, it was. I remember. Yeah,
A
yeah.
little bit of both.
Then now you have your full, not full because you keep adding stuff to it. But now we're recording at your pad. I bring
Yeah.
my mic. At this point, I'm investing into my own equipment, and we start working on Sick Ass Fools. Anything in particular you remember from that time? I'm telling you, I
That
was still
was
drinking, fool.
so I felt like the second one was when we started like feeling ourselves as a group. Like the first one was like, okay, we're figuring it out. The second one is like, yeah, we here. You feel me? And I think the second one was like the staple, like this is we here.
Hmm.
And it was more not to say this first one was organic, but it was more organic for the fact that we recorded in my house. It was all done in house, not the PY. It was at my home, and we're vibing out. And your microphone, my equipment, we all did it from the ground up.
15 beers every time I would pull up. It was so
Yeah,
fucking
I don't remember
rowdy.
that. I don't even remember that.
I don't
But what I
remember
do,
drinking. I just remember the pictures.
but I do remember. Yeah, that was it was a little bit of PY and a little bit here at the
That was
crib.
fun. That was fun. And we filmed 2 music videos.
Yes, sir.
One of them, ironically, was at the PY
Yeah,
with the green screen for same
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
fun. The one we did for off top. Shout out to your brother too. He came clutch with that one to
Yes,
help us
sir.
film. What was it? Off top, right at the
Mm.
beach and everything. That was our
Yes,
first
sir.
official Oso's out music
Video.
video. So now we're rocking and rolling. The chemistry, now we know how to work together. And again, this is like a year and a half later after the first one, and this is before the pandemic. Yeah, it was right before the pandemic hits,
Yeah.
or right around there. I forgot when it was. The timing's still a little blurred. I need to sit down and remember them myself. But then we start working on the single, back at it again. You remember that? Remember we made the lyric
Out
video,
top. Out top.
right?
So
What was that? The
the
lyric
third
video.
one, the
No, the
third
lyric
one
for back
is
at it again. Remember we did the lyric video,
yeah, 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 yeah. But
and we
I'm
did
just
it on
saying,
Fiverr.
yeah. So we learned about Fiverr, so we were able to
Okay,
get
there it is.
the lyric video. That was like the promotion for the album.
Okay, then we work on album number 3.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts about that one?
The best one.
Okay.
Because it's like we're here and now this is the polished. We got 2 albums on the belt. We're experienced now. We got chemistry on lock. Now we're making some dope stuff. Not to say that the previous 2 albums weren't good, but the third one was more polished than the. In terms of song concept wise, it was a little bit better in both of them
And it's still recorded at your pad,
at the pad. So we
at the
just had a
pad, just
better feeling
kicking it.
of like what we need to do and got it done, and it was dope. And in my personal favorite out of the three because of the, like I said, the originality and then coming starting from this and then sounding rough, but it was still us, but we made it happen, and then it becoming a little bit more polished to our identity as a group.
Oso's has the full like theme around it,
Mhm.
but when did the idea of the Soulstrumentals
I
start
always wanted
becoming
to,
a reality?
I always wanted to drop beat tapes. So at the same time, we was doing Osos, and you know, it's interesting that you bring up the Osos joint. I think at the same time, I can't remember my plan was to drop the Osos joints at the same time, drop the beat tapes at the same time. So it's like boom, 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 nonstop Soulreal stuff. So you get the Oso stuff, and then you get the beat tapes. I can't remember when. I think 2021 when I dropped the first beat tape, or 2020. I can't remember, but yeah, I have to look up the date on Spotify. But yeah, it was like nonstop music, and I always wanted to drop an instrumental album because of the fact that when I was in high school, like I said, my favorite producer was Jay Dilla, and Dilla Donuts changed my life. So I wanted to do an instrumental album. Madlib's Beat Conductor series, dope. I wanted to do something like that. So that inspired me to make some instrumental albums.
And it was called Soulstrumentals 1.5 because you had dropped
One,
Soulstrumentals 1.
yeah. So that was during the time of Pico Reps. So that was originally during the time of Pico Reps. I was supposed to start that trilogy, but I took a pause and went to the drawing board in terms of getting better as a producer. Then boom, the 1.5 hit. That's when I was like, I feel fully confident. And then look at the time frame from me starting from high school and then like damn near 20 years, damn near. And then like that's how I feel like I really started like feeling myself and really becoming dope as a producer. That's why I feel like confident to share the world. Like this is me.
Out of those 3 albums, fool, I just have to say, when I listen to the Marauder, it inspires me to, because it doesn't even feel like a typical rap beat. It has a little twist and a little element.
That's a Tribe Called Quest type beat.
You feel
That's
me?
why.
And it was just like when I heard that beat, I was like, oh my god. I use it on my posts on social media. I listen to it all the time
The
on repeat. So if you like beats, go listen to Soulstrumentals volumes
Yes, sir.
1.5. Right? I don't know if you have volume 1 anymore.
I wish I did, man. I wish
I
I
remember
did.
when
Like
it
I
dropped
said,
though.
I want if anybody out there, I don't know if they know me like that, that has my original mixtape, my original album, my original beat tape, and quantum physics. Those 4 projects, I want to hear them. I just want to hear them. You can keep it. I just want to hear myself, like how I sounded as a youth and young, and like what was like what dust was I kicking? What was I talking about? What was my mind state? What was I talking about back then? I don't even remember. It's been so long. I want to I want to see the development to where I'm at right now as a man. It's good to see like where you came from.
We know where you came from. We
Yeah.
talked about your journey from the beginning to Oso's Volume 3. Since then, what has been the goal or what is the goal now with the music? Because
It's a
it's
good
been a minute.
question. I had not contemplating retirement, but I had like a change. Like I said, my life changed. So before I was making all this music, I was doing it for me, my aspirations, my goal, what I wanted to do. And now that I gave my life to God, everything that I do has to check in with Him, has to reflect Him. So I have to have the Lord reflect on everything that I do, including the music that I do. So I'm at this point where I'm at right now is how I'm going to incorporate God into my music. Whether that me being a gospel rapper or producer, I'm figuring that out and how that looks like. And if you were to tell me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, you're going to become a gospel artist or a producer who talks about God, you're lying. You are lying, bro. I don't believe you. And that's something I'm contemplating right now. I'm trying to figure out how would that look like so I can execute it.
To
All glory to be
summarize,
to God.
to summarize the whole conversation that we just had, from the social media posts related to video games, related to anime, then we talked about your social media posts about God and your faith in Christianity. Where does music fit into all this? Because I know a lot of people followed you for the music. Is there anything you want to
Yeah.
tell people about your social media? Not that it matters, but it's the number one spot where we could find you, correct?
Yeah. I mean, you can call me.
Oh yeah, but
You
not
can call
everybody
me.
has your number, fool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just saying for the people who know me, I'm a phone call away. If I don't answer, I'll call you back or text you. Um, for the people who follow me, and what they're gonna get is I just put out stuff that I like. So like if you like anime like I do, that's what you're gonna get. If you like video games like I do, that's what you're gonna get. If you like hip hop like me, that's what you're gonna get. With a twist.
Mm.
With a twist.
Well, it's been good talking to you, my boy, hearing about your story and
Always
how
a
much you've
pleasure.
changed. And there's gonna be a part three because we haven't
Off
talked
top.
about hip hop, the culture itself, and the influences and the roots, and had conversations about other topics. So you'll be back,
Yeah, yeah,
part three, but part
yeah. Give us
two,
some time. Give us some
yeah,
time, and then we'll check in. And then I'm happy with this one. I definitely like what we talked about, and I'm pretty sure I have a clip here and there that I can like share to the world. That's important. And I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate the work that you're doing. And I don't know if anybody's ever told you this. Like you do great work, and
thank
you
you,
should definitely hold that high and hold your head up high, bro. And God bless you, bro. And keep doing what you do, bro. And be a positive person in this community. You know what I mean? Spread that love, not that hate.
thank you, thank you. That means a
Off
lot, my
top.
boy.
Yes, sir.
We're not afraid to give people their flowers here. And with
Yes,
that
sir.
being said, any final words, fool, before I wrap it up?
Let me think about this one. Thank the Lord, man. Thank the Lord that I'm here, and thank God, man, for everything that that He's blessed me with. And thank you for good friendships, and thank God for everything, you know. And follow God, praise God in Jesus' name, Hallelujah.
Thank you, dog. It is a pleasure. It's been one of my dreams to hear your music story and you hear your music journey from the very beginning. Like I
Yeah,
mentioned, you give me, you know, bits and pieces of information, but to finally have it and I can listen to it back and hear your story, and it's gonna
yeah,
create even a deeper bond between us because now, I know a little bit more about you, and I've always been open about my music journey with you and everything.
yeah,
But to now be able to have a part two of our Platica, a continuation of what we started, and to plan for the next one
yeah,
is something that I'm excited about. like I said, you're gonna be one of the recurring guests on the podcast, and that's all I gotta say, fool. I thank you, and let's hop on Warzone. Let's run it. Follow
Yes,
my boy
sir.
on Twitch. Subscribe to me on YouTube if you want to see us play for a bit or whenever we randomly hop on. And all the links are going to be on the description. But with that being said, it's your boy Othree. Don't forget to love yourself today, all right? Adios. Stepping out the door with some fresh 90s. The old whites, the drips nice. Yeah, I'm icy, but I don't wear eyes. Still a fool that looks fly. Got my button down on. Let's get lost in the